Bill, how you doing?
Good, Glenn. How's it going?
Terrific. We're doing great here, and we appreciate you coming on with the three other coaches here, all for the Jimmy Fund. So I just peppered these guys.
It's an honor to be on. Yeah.
I just peppered these guys about you and being around you and going to your practices. So I don't remember when this practice started.
What is this, a roast? What are we doing, a roast here?
We got some good dirt on you. No. Trust me, we got some good dirt on you. Yeah, you'll read it on social media in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm all over that. I'll be sure to see it. Yeah.
No, you are. So I don't remember coaches from different teams in this town interacting the way you guys interact. I don't know when it began, but I don't remember this 20 or 25 years ago. You probably have a better understanding because you might have been initially one of the guys that did it. Was it with Tito? Was it with Doc Rivers? When did that practice first start?
Yeah, all the above. Even going back to Rick, when Rick was with the Celtics, he was coach of the Celtics when I took the job in 2000. Then he wasn't there too much longer. He I think maybe in April, so it was only a few months. But yeah, Tito for sure, and Doc was great. So I feel like I've Claude. So I've had a great relationship with. I think all the coaches through here.
These guys talked about what they get out of it. What do you get out of it?
It's really everything across the board. The way that the sports are different, but sports are sports, and competition's competition. And I think what we all love about the city of Boston, the passion that our fans have for pro sports. But some other things that come with that, and certainly we, get a lot of attention, both good and bad. But that's part of it. We all understand that. But they've been all those organizations have been very supportive of us, and we have the same way. They take great care of our players and staff when we come to see them play, and we try to reciprocate on that. And championships that they've won, we've been able to celebrate with them together, and they've celebrated with us. So, it's really a healthy, almost like a college relationship where the coaches and the teams at the school are all playing for the same alma mater. It's similar to that here, I think. That's really great. And our players and other players from the Celtics, the Bruins, and the Red Sox. Some of them are very close or know each other from, when they were at different places. But you even come together now, certainly, Tom and they've got a family member with the Red Sox, so it's a pretty close-knit group.
So, Coach, we were talking to these guys about, the expectations coming in and winning in New England, and it's like you and your team really have kind of set that bar. Do you even look at these other teams, the Red Sox winning championships and the Bruins winning a couple years ago? Do you feel, even with all the success you had, that pressure of going out each and every year, and how you deal with it?
Well, I've looked at I would say we've looked at the success that those organizations have had. Certainly, the Red Sox last year had a great season, and we try to learn from what they did, how they did it, and the success that they had. Or the Bruins, last year throughout the season, just and how well they played throughout the the playoffs and the latter part of the season. So we learn a lot from them. Again, Brad's done a tremendous job in rebuilding the Celtics from where they were when he got there, and be in the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years ago, and just he's had a big impact, and just watching him build the team and take a lot of young players and turn them into a cohesive unit that just plays such great situational basketball. Coming off of timeouts and end of game plays and things like that. Yeah, I've learned a lot from all three of those coaches and organizations.
I'm curious to know, Bruce, I'll ask you about this. Sports talk radio. We obviously come up with a lot of different topics. Sometimes we're on point, sometimes we're not. I'm sure, and Brad is just nodding and laughing. Okay, but that's what we do.
Can you give us a list, Brad?
Bill is, nobody's probably better than Bill at it. No. But I'm trying. Is it the relationship? What your guys' view on sports talk radio? And can it hurt? Can it help? I mean, do you guys? Is it just a necessary evil? What do you think?
I don't read too much into it, to be honest with you. You guys got a job to do. You got a passionate fan base for every sport. People want to have an opinion. I think it's great to have some banter. I don't listen every day, so I guess if it got personal with certain players, that's when I'd say, hey, okay, let's just keep it to their performance on the ice. That'd be my only opinion if that happens. Like I said, I don't read about it a lot, so I'm probably not the best guy to ask. But I do deal with the media every day. I have a lot of respect for the media. They have a job to do. I have a job to do. And I just find if you have to cover the Red Sox for 162 games or the Bruins for 82 or the Celtics, I mean, you guys, it's a grind for you too, I assume, at some point during the year. So that's why I try to be honest with my answers, but and give you the information that I feel, is going to be out there anyway. Other people do it. Everyone has their own way of doing it. That's how I thought it would work for the Bruins in Boston. And that's it. That's my opinion.
And Brad, with you, it's last year was a lot of expectations. When things go the way they did last year, getting bounced, there is a lot of speculation, right? What happened? It's like, an undisclosed player or somebody in the organization. So you hear a lot of these rumors. People try to put two and two together. Does that get frustrating? People trying to put two and two together, something that you actually know what happened.
I mean, you certainly hear things that you just kind of say, that's talk and that's not real. But that, again, what Bruce said, I totally agree with. Everybody has a job to do, and part of it. Part of the reason why we're all compensated really well, and we get to do this job and with this kind of scrutiny is because of people's interest, and that people want to talk about it all the time is a good thing. And I think the only thing that I would say is that the only time it ever would bother me at all would be is if a player was unfairly, maligned for things that aren't real. And I just think ultimately. That's why whenever you get a chance to, you try to support your players and your teams regardless of circumstance when you can, and that's just part of it. I think it's easier to sit here when I'm 42 and have been a head coach for 12 years. It's a lot easier for me to sit here now than maybe 12 years ago, or certainly if I would have been good enough as a player in my early 20s to handle the scrutiny or the praise, which oftentimes the praise is just as unsettling. Because that there are a lot of hands that are doing a lot of good things to help everybody have success.
But you guys are dealing with a totally different world. I mean, Bill remembers the days, I'm sure, before you had this social media. So when you're doing sports talk radio, a lot of times a topic is generated by a tweet from somebody who may be credible, may not be credible, but you're going to talk about it because you need to entertain the audience. And I know you guys probably don't care what any of us do, and I wouldn't blame you. But what about if it becomes a distraction for your player? We're watching the Antonio Brown helmet gate play out in Oakland right now. It's been all over Twitter, and Antonio Brown's been the one that's out there on Twitter. So I'll start with you, Bill, and you seem to shut most of this stuff off and not give any of it a shelf life by basically putting out a release and then moving on from it. How different is it for you in this world versus the world of 15, 20 years ago?
Yeah, well, of course, things are a lot different than they were at a different point in time, but it is what it is. And, I agree with what Brad and Bruce said. I think they hit it right on the nose. And, everybody's trying to do the best they can. I think there are times when it gets personal, I think that's crossing the line. You can think whatever you want of my coaching, good, bad. I've heard all of it. That's your opinion, and I have no problem with that. But when it gets personal with players and other people in the organization, I don't really think that's where it belongs. But I don't have any control over that. So whatever it is, and I'll just try to do the best I can for our football team.
Alex, your time in the media, you're on social media, whether you're active or not, but you're seeing things, you're hearing things. So I think you got a different perspective on it, but it's still the same effect as some things that you have to deal with it.
Yeah, I think I learned over the 4 years I worked on TV and doing Baseball Tonight and covering the game. I learned a lot about how it works, and I always tell you guys, I know how it works here, and you guys ask the questions, but whenever there's a headline, somebody else is behind the door, and they're going to throw it out there, and it's going to be bigger than what it really is. And I seen it throughout the season last year when we were going good this year when we struggle. Somebody else is gonna make that news, bigger than what it is. And I keep everything in perspective. I do feel that my 4 years working in the media helped me to work in this market. Aaron Boone is the other one. He went through it for 5-6 years at ESPN, and now you see him in New York. And I always go back to Booney. Booney last year, he won 100 games in New York with the Yankees. It just happened that the team that won the division had a historic season and won 108. And everybody was saying he was a bad manager, it was a bad season. No. You know what? He was a good one, and he was able to deal with negativity in New York. And now you see him with the Yankees, and he's dealing the same way. He understands how it works, and that's the way I see it.
They're on pace for the same amount of wins. He's just a better manager this year.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works too.
Hey, Bill. So obviously, great football coach. I know you have a great love affair with lacrosse. But out of if you could coach one of the three sports up here, basketball, hockey, or baseball, which one would you choose?
I probably wouldn't be very good at any of them, so I think I'll just stick to football person.
You can't stick to football. You have to choose one. Is there one that's more similar as far as just attitude and daily routine than the others?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough question. Baseball I'd say all three of those sports are a little bit different. Baseball being at the other end of the extreme. They play every day, and it's hard for them to practice. We play once a week, and we practice, all the other days. So, the only way we can get better is we have to get better in practice. We have to get better on the field up by ourselves. We can't get better in competition. Baseball, you get better by playing. That's what they do once the spring training's over. I mean, how many off days are there in the entire season? Probably, 10. So, in basketball and hockey, I think are, not quite the same as baseball, but between the travel and the, game every couple of days, to rest, recovery, play again, I mean, you can gain a lot by playing, 80 games or whatever it ends up being. When you only play 16, you can't, if you only improve during the games, then you're not going to be very good. So it's a totally different, the sports are set up totally different, as they should be. I don't think it should be any different, but it's just practice is everything in football, and practices are important but limited in basketball and hockey, and they're almost non-existent in baseball. And so it changes the structure of it.
We could do 3 or 4 hours of this, but unfortunately we need to raise an awful lot of money here for the Jimmy Fund. We want to thank all 4 of you guys for coming in here, giving up your time. And hopefully people are listening, and people are going to pick up the phone, and people are going to dial in, and people are going to send us money right now, which would be great. So to Alex Cora.
Glenn, I just want to commend you guys and everyone at WEEI who puts on this event every year, and you've done for so many years. Just speaking for myself, what we do in coaching and what you guys do in the media is important, and we take it very seriously, as you know. But your efforts to support the people who need it the most go way beyond that, and you're improving the quality of the life for so many people in this area. It's I really respect and appreciate what you're doing for them. Glad to be a part of this, and what you're doing is very, very special. And so I want to commend you and WEI for your part in this. It's been a great, you guys do a great job.
Thank you. We appreciate it, and all the scientists and all the doctors and all the people.
They're really smart people.
They're smart people.
Yeah,
they're a lot smarter than all of us, I would say. I'm speaking for myself. Thank you, all 4 of you guys.
Thanks,
Alex Cora and Bruce Cassidy, Brad Stevens, and Bill Belichick. We really appreciate sitting down and spending time and doing it all for a great cause, the Jimmy Fund. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
We
Thank you.
appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.